subscribe for daily exclusive fanfiction, and share your dream scenario in the comments for our next exciting episode. In this enchanting tale, witness forbidden romance unfold between Hagrid and Madame Maxime under the moonlit Beauxbatons sky. The night was alive with magic as the moon hung low in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the grounds of Beauxbatons. Hagrid, tall and formidable, yet filled with a boyish shyness, wandered the manicured gardens, his heart pounding at the thought of his unexpected invitation to this clandestine gathering. The soft rustle of leaves and the distant laughter of students filled the air, but his thoughts were consumed by one person, Madame Maxime. She was a vision, even against the backdrop of the shimmering night. Her striking features were accentuated by the moonlight, and the way she carried herself commanded attention. The elegant giantess exuded a confidence that both enthralled and intimidated Hagrid. As he approached the gathering, he could feel an undeniable pull toward her. Their eyes met across the starlit courtyard, causing his heart to skip a beat. He could sense the chemistry crackling in the air between them, electric and intoxicating. Despite his usual demeanor, Hagrid felt a spark of courage. He stepped forward, heart racing, determined to bridge the distance that had long kept them apart. "Good evening, Madame Maxime," he stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. She smiled, a warm and inviting expression that made the world around him fade away. "Hagrid, I wasn't sure you would come," she replied, her voice like music, drawing him in. They began to converse, sharing stories of their time at Hogwarts, of challenges faced, and the loneliness that often accompanied their positions. As they talked, Hagrid felt his insecurities starting to melt away. The atmosphere shifted as they found a quiet spot beneath a great, ancient tree. The sounds of the gathering faded into the background, leaving only the rustling leaves and the rhythm of their breathing. Feeling bold, Hagrid reached out, gently brushing his fingertips against Madame Maxime's hand. The contact sent a jolt of electricity through him, and he could see a flicker of surprise in her eyes. "Do you ever feel like the world doesn't understand us?" he asked, voice thick with emotion. Her gaze softened, and she nodded, sharing her own struggles with acceptance. In that moment, a bond deepened between them, an unspoken understanding that transcended words. As the moon rose higher, casting silvery shadows around them, the tension in the air became palpable. Bit by bit, the distance inexplicably closed, drawing them closer. Hagrid could feel the warmth emanating from her body, a comforting presence that enveloped him like a warm embrace. The night held promises of hidden desires waiting to be unveiled. as passion stirred within Hagrid's heart, so did the nagging doubt. Would their connection hold against the scrutiny of their peers? But for now, under the moonlit sky, everything felt possible. They leaned closer, their hearts racing, as the world around them faded further away, leaving only the intoxicating thought of what was about to unfold. The days following their moonlit encounter were filled with a tumultuous mix of emotions for Hagrid. He wandered the grounds of Hogwarts, restless and preoccupied, replaying every moment spent with Madame Maxime in his mind. The warmth of her hand against his lingered, igniting a flame of longing that felt almost unbearable. Yet doubts gnawed at him. Was a relationship between them truly plausible? Meanwhile, at Beauxbatons, Madame Maxime struggled with her own feelings. Though the memory of their connection brought a smile to her face, societal pressures loomed large. She was the headmistress, a role that came with expectations. She felt the weight of responsibility, knowing that any perceived weakness in her personal life might affect her standing. The thought of their romantic connection blossoming in an unforgiving world filled her with anxiety. One fateful evening, as they both attended a gathering for the Triwizard Tournament, Hagrid decided it was time to confront his feelings. The excitement in the air crackled like magic, and he longed to find a moment to steal her away from the throes of celebration. He spotted her across the crowded hall, the glimmer of her gown catching the light, making her appear almost ethereal. As the music swirled around them, Hagrid felt drawn to her like a moth to flame. With a deep breath, he made his way through the throng. "Madame Maxime," he called softly, hopping to capture her attention without being swallowed by the revelry. She turned to him, her eyes shining with recognition. At that moment, the room seemed to fade away, leaving just the two of them vulnerable, exposed. But before he could take her hand, a fellow student intervened. A cascade of laughter erupted as the student laid an arm across Madame Maxime's shoulders, pulling her into a jovial conversation. Hagrid's heart sank. What was he doing? He was just a half-giant, a bumbling giant at that. Jealousy surged within him, prompting him to retreat into the shadows, uncertainty clawing at his heart. Madame Maxime noticed his absence and tried to catch his eye, but doubt clouded her thoughts. Did he feel ashamed to be with her? As their eyes locked for a fleeting moment, both felt an ache in their hearts, wishing for a connection that seemed just out of reach. The once unbreakable bond was now strained by insecurity and misunderstanding. Tension wrapped around them like a thick fog, making both reluctant to take the necessary step forward and address their feelings. As the evening wore on, Hagrid's mind battled against the seductive pull of hope, weighed down by the heavy chains of doubt. He decided he would speak with her, even if it meant risking rejection. But the moment never came, leaving them both trapped in a seesaw of desire and hesitation. And as the celebration continued, the magic that had once brought them together seemed to fade, replaced with unspoken words and unfulfilled desires, each longing for the other yet held back by the forces around them. The stars shone brighter than ever on the night of the Beauxbatons ball, illuminating the tension that pulsed between Hagrid and Madame Maxime like a living thing. Having spent days tangled in their unresolved feelings, tonight felt different. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the universe itself was holding its breath for them. Deep down, Hagrid knew this evening would be the turning point, could no longer retreat into shadows. As he entered the hall, the enchanting music wrapped around him, calling to his heart. He scanned the room, his eyes searching for the one person who made the magic feel real. When their gazes finally met, a flicker of recognition and longing passed between them. Hagrid's heart raced, filled with a mix of hope and trepidation. It was time to confess. Madame Maxime floated toward him, her elegance captivating the entire room. The way her gown shimmered under the lights made Hagrid's breath catch in his throat. She approached with a tentative smile, one that spoke of both apprehension and desire. "Hagrid," she said softly, her voice wrapping around him like a warm embrace. "I've missed you." With the noise of the celebration fading away, Hagrid boldly took her hand in his, the warmth of her palm igniting a fire in his heart. "I've missed you too, Madame Maxime. I was afraid of what others might think." His voice trembled, revealing the vulnerability he rarely shared. "But I can't hide from my feelings anymore. You make me feel alive." The glance she returned was filled with understanding, compelling Hagrid to continue. "I let jealousy and doubt cloud my judgment. I thought you'd be better off without me, that I didn't deserve someone like you. But the truth is, I want to be with you, no matter what others say." Madame Maxime's eyes sparkled with unshed tears, and for a furious moment, Hagrid worried he had misstepped. But then a smile broke across her face, radiant and full of light. "Oh, Hagrid, I have struggled with my own insecurities. I feared our connection would never survive the scrutiny. But hearing you now, it gives me strength." In that instant, the weight of doubt and fear began to dissolve. Drawn together like magnets, stepped away from the noise of the world, lost in their own bubble of feeling. As they embraced, their hearts thundered, sinking together in harmony. The moment felt electric, igniting the pent-up desires they'd both held inside. They drew closer, their faces inches apart, breaths mingling in the warm air. Finally, unable to hold back any longer, Hagrid leaned in and captured her lips with his gentle at first, then deepening as the passion surged between them, as if the universe was celebrating their union. Underneath a blanket of stars, they stood wrapped in each other's arms, the world around them fading. All their doubts, their fears disappeared into the night sky as they finally embraced their love. In this moment, they were unstoppable, two souls intertwined in a magical connection, destined to face whatever